Right, welcome back to Rutland Water. I'm really out for a bit of casting practice this morning. I've made a lot of progress with the casting and I thought I'd give it a shot this morning while there was still some cloud cover. I don't think it's going to last for very long, but I thought I would try and get out and get a little bit of casting practice and see if I could get the new cast on camera. I've also got a new voice mic that I'm trying out. I really got frustrated with the previous one. It wasn't really working. It was letting me down more than it was working, so I decided that it was time to try something else. Right, I've got 3 flies on. I've got a fab on the point, green buzzer in the middle, and my trusty black nymph on the top. I think we'll get a bit of cloud cover this morning. I was really pleased with the casting yesterday, but I didn't have the camera with me, so I wasn't able to get it on film. So I'm going to have a shot off here because I've seen fish in this area. I had one here on Thursday night. I may fish off the road end a bit later. So I'll give it 10-15 minutes down here. If the fab doesn't do anything, I'll be taking it off pretty quickly and putting on my trusty black nymph on the point. Don't really get many fish on that nymph, but I think what it does is it gets me to the depth that I really want to be at. That was a bit more effort than I wanted, but it'll get better. I was filming here on Thursday night and I got a fish, but the fish took at the point my camera had run out of battery, which was very frustrating. Like I said, I'm really pleased with the casting. The thing that I think I've figured out is that I'm actually letting the rod do all the work. Not only am I calming my arm, I'm actually calming everything down. And even without doing any double hauling, it just feels very comfortable. A lot less effort. And that's got to be good. It's got to be good for my arm. There are fish here, but we've lost the cloud already. I thought it would have stayed with us for a little bit longer, but it's gone. I've switched to a green buzzer because I was reading something on one of the Facebook groups that's dedicated to buzzer fishing about how the colour of the buzzers changes as the season goes on, and as you get into May, June, the predominant colour switches from black to green, so I thought I'll give it a go. I've had a few fish on green buzzers on Rutland before, but it's really just been something that I've just tried by accident rather than by judgment. Definitely feeling a lot happier with the casting. Taking a little bit of line, I don't need to throw out as much line. Right, I'll let this fish washing line for a bit. It's been fishing this area for weeks, a bit like Transformer on the other side. There's been fish on Transformer, fish off this point, a lot of fish in the bay. So if they're in the taking mood, I know they're here, but they're not always in the taking mood. Right, I'm taking the fab off. I'm putting a nymph on. I'm hoping that this new voice microphone is going to make a big improvement to the quality of the voiceovers. It's absolutely essential. I think the camera, the microphones on the GoPros are actually quite good, but when the wind really gets up, it tends to overpower them, and all you hear is wind rather than the dialogue. And that can be quite frustrating, I think, both for me and for the viewers. So I'm hoping that the latest investment in technology in this little Tascam voice recorder is going to make a big difference. There we go. This is the new voice recorder. It's tiny and it just sits perfectly in my pocket. It's almost impossible to switch off because the record switch is in a recess. So to stop recording, I just press this button. Excellent, and it's recorded. Hopefully this will be reliable. And then to switch it off, you have to hold the button and hold it down. And it goes off. What a fabulous piece of kit. I also like the fact that I can wrap the cable around the recorder once it's recording and then put it in my pocket. Okay, so now we're fishing deep. Oh, that felt really quite nice. Not a lot of effort. Was able to cover the distance that I wanted to. Huge improvement. It is awfully bright this morning. It's a lovely morning, but it's awfully bright. Now the thing I found across at Transformer is the fish seem to want it fished a little faster, so I'll probably fish the nymph quite briskly. That felt quite good. I feel very happy with that as a cast. I think what I'm trying to do is cast a line that I'm comfortable fishing, that I know I can fish comfortably. Not trying to go for too much distance. And if I can get that feeling of the casting being comfortable, then it'll be one that I will work with. And eventually I'll get a little bit more distance, but I think I'm getting enough distance to fish this spot. Right, as before, I'm going to take a few steps down. We fished this part of the bank quite well. That was better. I felt the flick of the rod there. There's a certain feeling with this fast action rod. I'm trying to think of flicking rather than pushing. The next month's going to be interesting because the fish will switch from buzzers to pin fry, and then they will evacuate the shallows and move out into the deeper water, and then I think it'll have to be a case of switching to the boats. So we need to think of flick. Now, when I get the flick right, I can actually throw a decent amount of line with no effort whatsoever. So we'll pull the nymphs in a little bit faster this time. I've been fishing them quite slowly, so we'll try a slightly faster action. Like I say, this morning really is all about getting the feel of the flick. No fish on the surface. Most times I'm down here I do see at least some fish on the surface, even when the sun's out. There's a wind lane slick that I can see right in front of me, and I'm hoping that that's where the fish are travelling. I'm now getting the flies just into the edge of it, which is where I think they would be sitting. I'm going to throw it a little bit more out towards the deeper water this time. It's a lot more comfortable fishing this way. A lot more comfortable. Saw an osprey here yesterday. It was actually just over the finches, flying really quite high, but that unmistakable shape that they have. I'm taking the nymph off and putting a booby on. I'm going to try the old full blown washing line with the floating fly well and truly on the surface. It's not very often that I get them on the booby. I have had them in the booby before. In the bay once, just around the corner from here, I was once fishing the booby, and the flies just ignored the imitative patterns and went for the booby every time. Now that was a nice cast. Now I'm going to fish this static buzzer and nymph. Because I don't need to get really cast too far here. I can actually do that okay. Oh, that was a lovely big brown. Came right out of the water. I don't know if you caught that on the camera. That was a fabulous looking fish. Oh, that's the cloud cover coming. That's what we wanted. That is what we wanted. Now, I'm going to try just not using too much line here. That was a brown trout, probably around 4 or 5 pounds. It came right out of the water in front of me. When I see them doing that, it makes me think that they're not actually feeding, they're more just moving around in the water from one feeding spot to another. There must be something that triggers the fish to move up and down the reservoir. I wonder if it's changes in the fly hatches, that the current is blowing food down current and the fish just follow it upwind. Oh, that one took the whole rod out. There's more ripple in the bay now. It'd be a good morning to go out there if we had more cloud cover. I'll try something else. I can see that fence. That's really going to be that worked well. I can cast backwards as well as forwards. Oh no, I'm going to go back the way I came. The thing I found when practicing in the back garden was I was able to throw quite a lot of line out without aerialising a huge amount of line, and that was quite liberating. I'm going to try casting with less line. Let's see if that works. That's like if I'm in the back garden, I don't tend to throw a huge amount of line. Right, I threw all of my line there easily. Doing the same thing with less line. Nearly a full line there. Though I know I am using less line than I normally would, but the casting is a lot easier. A lot easier. I'm feeling a lot happier with this. Okay, mission accomplished. Managed to get the new cast on camera, and we've hopefully done a successful test of the new voice microphone. And not one tangle this morning. That's probably one of the signs that I'm casting properly. I've not had any tangles at all this morning. That has got to be good. Now, if I was going to fish longer, I would go into the bay, but I don't want to stay too long. I've got stuff that I need to do at home today, so I think we shall